Is giving up less of your commission to your broker actually a model to build wealth appropriately? Probably not, because if you don't pay in, they don't provide any value. Next, if you do not have a cap and you're paying in constantly, what is the cap on that value? Could you be purchasing that value and doing whatever they are offering at a much less cost? We're going to dive into all that and more, and we're going to explain why a hybrid cap split model is absolutely the best bet and the best of both worlds in the real estate industry. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane, Real Estate Agent Playbook and EXP Realty. I want to ask you a question. Is your family and your income and your future important enough to run the numbers? A lot of times we make brokerage decisions based on all kinds of emotions. I like my broker. I need an office. All the things that I hear day in, day out. I get to keep my commission. Well, I'm here to tell you that the hybrid model is absolutely the best of both worlds. And if you care enough about your family and your business to run the numbers, let's put some math to it, eliminate the emotions, and make decisions based on math for you, your business, your family, and your future. Book a call, reagentwolfpack.com, and would be happy to tell you what we're doing differently. But let's move on. Let's talk about these brokerage models. Let's talk about the differences and why this hybrid model is absolutely the key. Let's dive in. Okay, so first let's talk about the no split transaction fee model. That's where I came from. A very lucrative model when you're thinking short-sighted and you're not looking at the future. A lot of times I hear agents tell me, well, I don't have enough business at this model in order to, come to a cap split model and give away so much of my money. Well, the problem is that those agents are on an island and doing the a la carte thing and trying to build business. The ones that are hungry are trying to build business and they're reinventing the wheel. They're not getting the group discount on, the CRMs and things like that. So their costs add up. So technically they're keeping their money, but they're paying more to build their business for the tools that their brokerage doesn't provide because of, the income model. You just can't provide a ton of value if you don't have a ton coming in. You're busy enough covering your overhead and your expenses. And so, sure, sometimes, you have to make a little adjustment to the CRM that's offered, right? There's that piece too. However, it comes at a cost, when you're trying to do it as an individual agent. So the next thing I hear is, well, I don't have enough transactions to make that make sense. And so when we're thinking about that, people that come to our group that obviously provides a ton of value, we talk about the value stack all the time on this channel, on this podcast, right? Agents are coming over and they're averaging 3xing their income just by being a part of the group, right? You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And so if you're, getting a ton of value, you're getting a ton of social media training, a ton of real estate investment training, a ton of tools and resources to help you build your business, that makes a difference. And so if you can take your income at this, cheaper shop and you can 3x it, does it matter what the split is? Because you've far succeeded any savings that you had, down here trying to generate your own business with lack of training and lack of leadership. So that is absolutely the key when thinking about these transactions fee models, because they can't give you anything and therefore you can't build your business appropriately. And so the others who are having access to all of that, having access to next level training, having the camaraderie of a group that's always continuing to level up, those people are surpassing you and taking your transactions right out of your pocket because they're doing the things that are changing the industry forever. So in short, the hybrid model, EXP is one of them. 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap, capping what you're paying into the company, but still requiring every agent to pay in, provides the company with the ability to provide you resources. Access to KV Core, which gives you a website and next level CRM. Access to a file transaction management, account so that you're very organized and everything's there. You also get access to the cloud-based brokerage, which saves you so much time and so much money and so much energy. And so all of these things as you move forward, health insurance, pay-per-click, making it rain software, all of these things that are provided because the brokerage can, get mass membership into that, and therefore it's covered with your monthly fee, provides value. And so if you have that as EXP, you have the Wolfpack training, free access to the Social Agent Academy, Mike Sherrard, free access to Louis Galt's amazing systems and processes training, free access to my foundation building. As you can see, when you start to stack up the value for absolutely free, because of the way the revenue share works, it makes a huge difference. We'll talk about revenue share in a little bit. But now let's transition a little bit here. Let's transition to the opposite end of the spectrum. These luxury brands or these, longer tenured real estate companies, so to speak, that are in the split model with no cap. Now that, is a little bit different. And I'm going to challenge you right now. If you are at one of these companies and you do not have a cap, think about this right now. Think about, okay, the last 12 months, I want you to write every single one of your deals that you did down. Write their name, write how you came across them, okay? Next, I want to see, okay, how much was your gross commission? How much was the commission offered off the top before everybody got their hands in there? What's that number? Now put your net commission, what you actually took home from that closing there, obviously before taxes, because we all know we have that. We can't change that, unfortunately. So if you make that list, then we're going to look at it. Step back and take a look. Okay, how many of those relationships came as a result of your brokerage, of the sexy branding, of the, great tech they offer, of having an office? How many of those agents came as a result of your company, and how many came as a result of your personal relationships? Okay, so now that you have that, take a step back and say, okay, well, who's generating the business, right? Most likely it's going to be you, okay? At all of those models, whatever it is, it's probably you. Now look at your difference between your net and your gross. If that number was shrink down and your net was only $16,000 less than your gross, would that change your life? Could you afford to pay for any of those leads that you just listed, that you closed? Could you afford to pay for that portion of why they came, if they came from the company? Okay, so if, say, you got a lead from your website that your company offers that has really sexy branding, okay, sure, that's probably a company deal. All right, so how many of those were company generated? How many of them were you generated? I'm going to tell you right now, most of them are going to be you generated, unless you're in some sort of, lead flow or something like that. But then your net income versus your gross income absolutely goes out the water. And so if you have more questions about leads and broker provided leads, check out this video right here. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole, as you know how I feel about paid leads. So that's the problem when we kind of get to that next level and we're producing. I've looked at agents that have given away $100,000 a year just because they didn't have a cap. And then when they really step back and look at it, they're like, oh, well, I'm generating all the business. I can probably, if I have $100,000 a year to spend in excess, maybe I can provide, that video. I can pay that videographer for that listing, or maybe I can pay the extra money for that sexy, trifold flyer, or whatever the thing is that got that person over the hump. I'm sure that your net at the end will be absolutely completely different, because those brands pay a lot and they want you to feel like their company is the brand. The truth is that you are the brand, as we talk about all the time on this channel. So that is the difference. So now we transition to the hybrid model. And to do this, as referenced before, let's check your numbers, okay? Let's look at your numbers. Let's see if it's worth a conversation, right? $50,000, $25,000 more a year when that difference between net and gross, if that's worth a conversation and you care about math and you care about your finances over the brokerage, you care about your family's future over the broker's, family's future, let's talk. I promise you that running the numbers will absolutely give you a perspective. I don't care what the brokerage is. I don't care who tried to get you to join the brokerage. Let's look at the math and let's talk about the value that you're missing, on one side or the other, and develop a plan. And if it's the best plan for you to stay where you're at, absolutely. Let's collaborate. Let's hang out. Let's do deals together. But the truth is, and I know that when we run the numbers and we remove emotion from it, then it's a whole different story. Okay, you're looking at somebody that left his dad's brokerage because the numbers made more sense. Okay, and that's where you need to understand that, his dad's transaction brokerage. So if we're talking easy money when there's no cap, right? Easy comparison. $100,000 a year for top producers, big time deal. Okay. When you're talking transaction model and I can make the numbers work, is it worth a conversation for you to level up your business? We'll talk then. Okay. So why is the hybrid model so powerful? Well, you're able to provide all of that value. You're able to get those group discounts on KV Core and Stanley Morgan ShareWorks and all these tools that we use in our business. And you're able to plug into those and help manage your money and level up your business and all of those things. And so that's why, because we still have to pay a $16,000 cap into the company. However, EXP utilizes that $16,000 cap in ways that no other brokerage could, even the other cap split models. And there's so many cap split models that were out there. EXP is not the first, it's just the best in my opinion. And now there's a bunch coming in that are trying to copy the EXP model, make little tweaks. The funny part is they always make the tweaks on the front end, on the production end, okay? And they then make tweaks that are negatively affecting you on the revenue share end, which we'll talk about in a second. But they're making the tweaks. Oh, we're gonna offer you free listing marketing. Okay, well, most new agents that are open to this cloud-based brokerage thing aren't gonna have a ton of listings. So that free listing package is absolutely not valuable to anyone. Okay, so the tenured agent can have a free listing package. I don't know. Do you want your branding to look exactly like every other agent at your company's branding? You're not setting yourself apart. You're paying into the machine. You're building their brand, right? And so if you can get a listing package put together, super easy, a VA can do it. You can do it on Canva. That's your brand and you, then that doesn't really make sense. So or they lower the split on the front end. Okay, if you lower the split, you lower the cap, then the back end revenue share goes out the window, which that's the brilliant piece of the EXP model is that exit strategy, right? And so if you're saying, okay, well, this is that and this is that, whatever, and conversely, these other cap split models and even some of the no cap models are incentivizing team leads and brokers to come over. Well, that's great for the broker, but the people that are influenced to come over underneath them are absolutely not getting that value. And now the broker's stuck here and the agents below them are struggling and they're wondering, why does this really make sense? Well, here's this listing package. Well, I don't have a listing, I have 10 buyers. Okay, well, here's whatever they're offering. And so it's really short-sighted in the fact that you're paying less and the company's able to give less back is huge. So the difference lies with the hybrid cap split model in the exit strategy. EXP is using that $16,000 cap, giving 50% of the revenue that the company retains off the top back to the agents for growing the company. Okay, the 7-tier system hasn't changed in 2 years. It hasn't changed since it became, a solid business model. And so once you're doing that, you're obviously building and building and building. The nuances of the revenue share model that other companies have tried to exploit by changing the percentages as top heavy and things like that are absolutely not creating a downward spiral, and they're not helping you in the long run. They're helping you for the now. Also, EXP throws in, hey, we have this retirement model where you can park your license in the commercial division. You don't have to be producing in order to continue building this revenue share. Well, by the time you go to retire, absolutely, right now you're going to start with bringing on your peers and doing that. Well, you guys are all going to be aging. However, if you're bringing on new people and they're younger and more hungry, then some of those bigger tiers at the bottom will build out and continue to build out throughout your tenure of life, right? So that's the biggest thing is a lot of the models have flipped EXP's model on its head so that you get compensated more for the top half of your revenue share. And, some of them don't even have 7 tiers, but once you get down to the 7th tier, you're not as fairly compensated. So you as an individual have more of a idea to build your top tiers, right? Instead of building your partner's tiers out. So at EXP, you build out your first tier, second tier, third tier, but then you're continued to be invested because those tiers, as you move down, and the 7th tier is the most compensated tier, then you're able to, okay, well, I'm going to help somebody on my 6th tier get a killer agent on the 7th tier and go from there. And so there are nuances to it, but the true biggest piece is you don't have to be producing anymore. So all these other models that are, flash in the pan, looking like EXP, lowering the upfront cost, leveraging your top 2 to 3 tiers, they are very short-sighted because that's while you're in production. That's while you're doing the things. While you have people on your 5th tier, maybe you get a brand new agent on your 5th tier and they become the next top producing agent. Well, you don't really have any, incentive to build them up. And so that exit strategy is absolutely something to consider. And so here's the deal. Facts, only numbers for me. They will be different for you, absolutely. $45,000 paid into EXP, over 7 figures in net commission income to me. Over 6 figures in stock account currently as we sit right now in my stock account. Okay, and a $3,000 to $4,000 residual income that will only increase as I build out my organization. So if you're worried about a little bit of split on front and $16,000, the little piddly numbers, you're talking massive growth. In 25 months, I have built those exact numbers that I'm telling you about because of the model, because of the people I surrounded myself with, and what I'm doing differently for my organization and building it out. I have an exit strategy. I have developed passive income. I have developed, a very good stock account based on the company policy and stock awards and all of that. And I also have absolutely crushed it in GCI as a result of this model and taking a chance. Again, removing emotion, saying goodbye to my dad's brokerage, saying goodbye to my dad as a managing broker, coming over here, building my own thing, and absolutely crushing it. So if those numbers turn some heads there, I would love to talk to you. reagentwolfpack.com. It'll tell you what we're doing differently. It'll allow you to book a call and we can chat. But the hybrid model is absolutely something that you cannot, overlook, because it is the best of both worlds and it is changing lives for the better. Thanks so much for tuning in. Real Estate Agent Playbook, Jeremy Kane, EXP Realty. Please like, comment, subscribe. And if you're listening on the podcast, share this with your favorite real estate agent. I would be happy to help. Bye-bye.